Good afternoon, everyone. Gabe Velazquez here with you, transparenttrading-solutions.com on a Friday, third day of November. Monster rally, big old short squeeze. Clearly, I've been talking about positioning being very negative, bearish sentiment, writing about it over the weekend. As I mentioned to my members, where are all those folks talking about, the S&P crossing the 200-day moving average and all that blah, blah, blah nonsense. Okay. Anyways, go ahead and give me a thumbs up, sign up for the newsletter. I just finished a really good class. I'm going to probably have another one. If you missed the class, contact me. I have some information, maybe if you want some additional information. If you want to spend a few days with me, also contact me, support at transparenttrading-solutions.com. All the links are below. Probably going to have another class in a couple of weeks. Okay. So in any event, we're basically just having these massive swings. VIX went back down to 15. Let's get right into the charts and go from there. I'm going to share. Let's start with the S&P, and starting off with the more in particular, I actually wanted to talk about the SPY. The SPY is right up against a major level. We've been talking about this level here being a weekly level. This is now coming up right up against this level here, which we broke down from. We've had this big rally. Wouldn't shock me again if we pulled back from here. Possibly there's actually a couple of gaps here on the daily chart in the S&P. We have a double gapper, which is usually, again, very interesting, right? We had that first gap from the Fed meeting, and then we had the second gap from the non-farm payrolls, and now we're right back up here. The big major level is going to come up around this level here in the SPY. Now we're talking, but in regards to the S&P futures, there really aren't any levels on the S&P futures until you get a little bit higher, up around this 4,500 area as well. So we've already tapped that guy. But on the you also want to start looking at the SPY, because those actually levels have been a little bit more reliable. Also interesting is the NASDAQ kind of in almost round trip this whole move from up here, very close, and there really isn't anything on the NASDAQ until you get much higher levels way out here. That doesn't mean the market's going to shoot straight up. I mean, it's already getting very, very extended. It's gone from very, very, from these lower levels here, and literally has run up almost 1,000 points here in about a week. So it's been pretty dramatic move here, and that usually happens again. The class I did about overextending and mispricing and all that. So with sentiment really, I've been writing about the sentiment being very bearish. In fact, the AAII numbers are even Wednesday's number came in almost at 50, which is was the low level in December before the market bottomed, and then the October was like 52, which was the yearly low level and then massive short positioning as well. So you get the idea here. We're kind of in no man's land. I mean, now everybody's gonna get complacent here as the VIX gets down to 15. And generally speaking, as when people were really fearful down here, and now they're probably going to get a little complacent. Quick reminder: we still have the ongoing situation in the Middle East. I think people are kind of losing sight of that right now with rates easing up and the Fed perceived as being a little bit more dovish and all that. But generally, what I found is that when you get a little bit more complacent is when things yet generally turn the other way. But we'll see. We'll see if this kind of euphoria lasts, or if the shorts are done getting squeezed and feeling pain. Because anybody, by the way, anybody that shorted against any levels along here on any of the averages this week, which you guys know, right? Any level that you shorted against here, all the way, you got smoked, right? And so if you're shorting deep in the hole, you're going to have a problem. But that's what most people do, because they're they follow this and they go, well, your market's heading down or whatever. So be careful doing that going forward. Also, we've been talking about rates peaking at 5. They peaked right at 5. Come down. They're right at a breaking point, but it wouldn't shock me again if this is just another pullback. The 10-year still did not break out. See that level right there, 108.15. There's still some work to do here, and again, wouldn't shock me if we pull right back down again on the 10-year, the price of the 10-year, and so forth. So the 30-year also did not break out. It was a false breakout. So that again could portend to maybe some another pullback, and maybe rates just kind of going sideways a little bit. You remember the market does tend to go sideways after these big moves. So it wouldn't shock me if we start going sideways here for a little bit going into the end of the year. Dollar also looked like it wants to break down. We finally broke down. We've been ranged in this range for a little while. And now today with rates falling and so forth. So still, we've broken here. Now we got to get the follow through, see if this is actually a real breakout or just another false kind of movement right now. I mean, it looks pretty good right now. You see it finally broke. Now the next step is, are we going to get that confirmation and get the follow through? And that obviously in turn is producing some rallies in these currencies that have been largely just chopping around all over the place here as well. There are some opportunities coming up. I'm still focused on the yen. The yen still is too early to make any kind of judgments whether it's putting in a bottom. It did fail to break the new lows down in here, but we'll see on that. Australia looks like it's poised for a breakout. So if you're a breakout trader, it looks like if it pauses here and the dollar collapses some more, you probably get a breakout trade out of the Canadian dollar if you do that type of trading. And again, you can clearly see all of the currencies reacting to the dollar falling. What was interesting is the metals are just chopping around. So the metals did not really do anything today. Gold, you can see gold, silver, copper, all just chopping around in here. Even platinum, which we track very carefully too here at TTS. That also is kind of sideways. Oil bounced again from the 80 level, this level here. And but it's been hitting this multiple times, so it wouldn't shock me if we drop out of that. If nothing really dramatic happens over the weekend in the Middle East, wouldn't shock me if we break through, at least come down to like 79 or 78 or something like that on oil. Nat gas, nothing really to talk about there, just continues to chop around back and forth. So it's just a kind of a no touch. Soybeans, Jan soybeans, I think the dollar falling is, by the way, that's not an official trade for us, so don't take that as anything. I think this is as a result of the dollar falling is the soybeans are rallying. Pretty much the grain markets all rallied across the board here. If you look at corn, also corn got a little bit of a bid, and wheat as well. but nothing, again, nothing to write home about, no breakouts or anything. Soybeans is the one, if you're going to trade grains, I think soybeans is really the only one. So also what was interesting is if you followed, I've been talking about Tesla bottoming here. We had a nice move, but kind of languishing, actually. So there's a little underperformance here by Tesla. Obviously, everybody knows about Apple today. It did catch a little bit of a bid. These levels that I've been putting out on some of these for my members here have been working pretty good right there. That level there, we still have to break out above 181, and then the shorting level on Apple would be right around 187. And then some of these other, NVIDIA, I mentioned that to everybody last week. It did hold on here, right? Now the next question is, are we going to break 450, 468? It did actually perform pretty well. So, and then the energy shares are just languishing because of oil. XLE, we actually lost some money on VLO. We did actually make that up, though. We were long Roku. We left a lot of money on the table, I have to tell you. We came into the earnings on Roku and left a whole bunch of money on the table. But it is what it is. We could have gone the other way. And I think what happened here is, market forces just carried this thing. This is clearly another short squeeze. So we got in at the earnings down in here and left about $1,000 on the table on this trade. Quite candidly, but it is what it is. We still ended up making some nice profits, but you can always look after the fact and say, well, coulda, woulda, shoulda, but obviously we don't. That's not something you can always look after the fact and think that on any trade, really. So so that's kind of where we're setting up next week. Kind of tapering off on, we still have a slew of earnings. Disney, I think, there's Disney. We're looking at still a bunch of earnings reports next week. We have some home builders, some more energy stocks, Oxy. There's all kinds of earnings coming out next week, which we'll be looking at. But be interesting to see if the market has some follow through, or in fact just kind of has a little bit of a pullback. The VIX at 15 is interesting to me. We've gone from 23, which I mentioned everybody was, if nothing really bad happened, maybe a bottoming in the stock market. Now we've come full circle down to 15, which is where we and if we do rally some more, if we break below 13, that always sets up for another possible shorting opportunity. So. Okay. All right, everybody. Have a great weekend. I'm going to get out of here. I'll see you guys on Tuesday. And again, if you need any information, some of you guys attended the class. Thank you for attending the class. That was a pretty good class. I'll be having another one fairly soon, as I typically do. Just kind of giving you guys some information, giving you something to bite on. Okay. If you want to spend some time for free with me, just contact me at support@Transparent Trading Solutions. If not, have a great weekend, and I will see you on Tuesday. Take care.